Hello, we are Group 4, and today we will be reviewing our findings and recommendations for Young Bank. The firm is looking to launch a new marketing strategy to attract new personal loan customers, and we have been given the task of reviewing the results from a previous campaign in an effort to more effectively target potential borrowers for the new campaign. The dataset provided in Excel is universally categorized as numerical data, but this is clearly not appropriate for modeling purposes. It became immediately clear that categories indicating whether a person has a given product or service, such as a credit card or securities account, should be treated as Boolean values. This includes our target variable, which indicates whether or not an individual accepted a loan offer. In addition, location indicated by zip code is better categorized as a polynomial value since the code serves as an identifier, not a scaling value. All remaining demographic variables, such as age and family size, as well as monthly expense amounts and balances from credit cards and mortgage payments, could be treated as numerical data as either an integer or float value. The ID column was dropped because it serves as an index rather than a variable. In terms of cleaning the data, after reviewing the basic statistics in RapidMiner, we found that the experience variable contained at least one negative value. We did not want to make any assumptions about the intent of the person who entered the data, so it was decided to drop all records where any variables have values less than 0. In addition, it was later discovered that setting the target variable as a binomial value did not work properly in RapidMiner, so ones and zeros were mapped to yes and no values in Excel, and the data was re-imported. In terms of feature selection, one concern was that with so many variables, there would be a high risk of overfitting using a decision tree model. To counteract this, we built a correlation heat map to see if there were any variables that could be removed prior to modeling. In the graph here, red indicates positive correlation, blue indicates negative correlation, and white indicates no correlation. Given high positive correlation values between age and experience, securities and CD accounts, credit card and CD accounts, and income and average monthly credit card spend, it was decided to remove one item from each of these pairs. Specifically, because it was already known that experience has a negative value, we elected to remove this variable along with credit card spend, and securities account. An updated heat map to reflect these changes can be found here. After initializing an 80-20 test train split, a decision tree model was built using an information gain criterion with a maximal depth of 10 levels, a pruning confidence level of 10%, a minimum information gain requirement of 1%, and a minimum leaf size of 2 leaves. Once the model was trained, results would be evaluated by using the F-score, accuracy, and recall measurements. Recall was selected as the primary measure to limit the number of false negatives, as we suspect the firm would rather have more people turn down the offer than risk missing too many individuals who would have otherwise opted for the loan. Here, the full model design and structure can be reviewed. You will see that the output for each model will include a view of the decision tree, as well as relevant performance measurements. The results of our initial model were promising with an accuracy score of 98% and an F-score of almost 90%, while the recall score of 88.5% is not quite as high as we would like, but it is a decent starting point. However, the biggest problem with this model is the interpretability. Looking at the decision tree itself, we can see that building any type of strategy around this much confusion will not be practical. To compensate for this, it was decided to reduce the maximal depth from 10 levels to 5 levels. From this view, it can be seen that the tree is much easier to interpret and we can see that income, education, and family size play pivotal roles. However, we can see that in simplifying the tree, sacrifices had to be made on performance, with recall taking a significant hit, dropping more than 5%. Several attempts were made at tuning the model using decision tree parameters such as confidence level, depth, and leaf size, but no significant changes were realized. At this point, it was decided to reintroduce the variables initially dropped as a result of our correlation findings. As can be seen here, the model performance has improved significantly, and our recall score has jumped to over 90%. In fact, all scores are higher than our initial model, which demonstrates how decision tree pruning can be more effective at addressing issues normally associated with collinearity. And this makes sense given that we are working with a classification problem as opposed to a linear regression analysis. What's more is that we can see no sacrifices had to be made in terms of understanding the tree itself. We see the same trend with income, education, and family being some of the driving factors. With a little more tuning, we wanted to see, however, if we could simplify this further while simultaneously improving model performance. The model was then repruned by taking out variables that seemed to be of little importance, including whether or not a customer has a CD account, and the depth was then increased to 6 levels instead of 5 to compensate for the reduction in breadth. As a result, we were able to create a model that is much easier to interpret, and we were able to boost the recall score to 91.67%. Here, you can see the results of each model side by side. The red dashed line represents the highest recall score set by the final repruned model. This model outperformed all others on each relevant measurement. So, how do we build a strategy around this? Well, if we take a look at our key factors, we find that income, education level, family size, and average credit card spend are all positively correlated with the probability that a person accepts a loan. Looking at these results holistically, a marketing strategy that focuses on family planning is likely to be most effective. By targeting moderate to high income individuals that are looking to get married, have kids, or want kids, Young Bank can develop a focused strategy that maximizes the potential for growth in the loans business.